In the mid to late 2000s, TV viewers were obsessed with celebrities and trash reality shows. When those worlds collided, a new genre called celeb reality was born. No one took that ball and ran with it quite like VH1 did.
3 all-new reality shows with a celebrity twist.
A network that couldn't compete with MTV in the music video viewer ratings struck gold with their original line of reality shows that are now known as the Of Love franchise.
Ain't nobody got nothing to say about that.
We were spoiled with the amount of shows and spin-offs that they were creating. It seemed like these shows could never be stopped until one day they were. No one could have ever anticipated what happened, but with one gruesome event, the empire fell overnight. This is the story of the show that destroyed the Of Love franchise and reshaped VH1 celeb reality for good. But before we get into it, take a moment to subscribe to the channel so that you can get notified when new videos like this come out. The Of Love franchise had a simple beginning with a little show called The Surreal Life. What's better than watching one washed-up celebrity go about their daily life? Watching several washed-up celebrities trying to live together under one roof.
In my defense, it's pathetic. I was shocked.
The show was an immediate success, but it wasn't until season 3 that the casting department struck gold when they casted Flavor Flav and Brigitte Nielsen. Their on-screen romance, which played out in real time, couldn't be described as anything but strange love, which became the title of their own spin-off show that aired January 9th, 2005. Flav was weird but funny. Brigitte was tall and under the influence a lot. But Strangelove followed them around Europe and the USA as they tried to discover if their love was real or just a hazy flame. It turned out to be the latter. They both decided to go their separate ways after the season ended in April that same year. Creators Chris Abrego and Mark Cronin knew that this had run its course until they were inspired by the newly popular show, The Bachelor. The Bachelor was wildly popular and showcased the journey of finding love in a very classy, fairy tale way. They thought, what if we had a show that was a complete clone of The Bachelor, but was about Flavor Flav looking for love and did it in a way that was more like Flav and less like a Disney movie? Thus, Flavor of Love was born, making it the very first in what was to become the Of Love franchise. It was an instant success. It gave viewers the messy drama that they craved, and it became very clear who the main characters were, the female contestants. From the very start, they were vicious, nasty, crazy, and full of the drama that we crave from a celeb reality show. And it gave us the greatest reality TV personality of all time, Tiffany New York Pollard. Even though New York was the villain on the series, she became the breakout star. She returned for season 2 and then got her own spin-off, I Love New York, which became the first of many spin-offs in the Of Love franchise. I Love New York was the smash hit that they predicted that it would be, getting 2 seasons. Meanwhile, VH1 recognized the ratings power that Flavor of Love had and wanted another dating competition show that appealed to another music demographic. Thus, Rock of Love was born. Rock of Love showcased Brett Michaels on his journey to find someone to settle down with while living his rock and roll lifestyle. The girls were just as vicious and dramatic as the Flavor of Love girls, but in a different way.
I want that date, damn it. If I have to, break some girl's wrist or knock out some teeth, I'm gonna do it.
The word cycle could be used to describe a lot of the Rock of Love girls. They didn't really have big personalities. They were just mean girls in bikinis. The ratings were still good, but few really stood out from the pack the way that New York did. Season 2 of Rock of Love gave us Daisy De La Hoya, a girl who lost to Amber and left heartbroken. Audiences really liked Daisy and thought that Brett made the wrong choice. So VH1 gave her a spin-off as well, called Daisy of Love. Daisy of Love was sort of a stretch for viewers. New York is a one-of-a-kind character, but Daisy sort of fell flat. The show itself is pretty hilarious, and at the end, you can tell that they sort of lost interest in the production of the show, as one of the scenes during the finale shows someone pouring their heart out on an airport runway, but a loud jet engine covers whatever they were saying.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to tell anybody again that I love them or I'm falling in love with them.
It was funny, but it wasn't what the Of Love viewers came to expect from these shows, and only that one season. Soon, spin-offs were happening left and right from these shows. Real and Chance from season 1 of I Love New York got their own dating show, which lasted for 2 seasons. New York had her New York Goes to Work and New York Goes to Hollywood spin-offs.
How about I break your leg?
Break a leg, guys.
What did you say to me?
I said break a leg, guys.
I don't want to break a leg. I'm going to get the part. That's what I'm going to do.
Former cast members of both shows were getting a second chance to shine on Charm School. This was a moment of self-redemption after making fools of themselves on the other shows. Charm School got 3 seasons. Season 1 for the Flavor of Love girls, Season 2 for the Rock of Love girls, and a 3rd season where it was a blended cast, adding in some Real Chance of Love girls as well. While Charm School was filming, I Love Money started filming, taking the cast members of all of these shows and throwing them into a strategy-based competition show where they competed to win $250,000. Some cast members of the early Flavor of Love and Rock of Love seasons got to be on Charm School and I Love Money, giving them more screen time and more of a chance for audiences to get to know them. It seems like the people at Mindless Entertainment, the company that produced all of these shows, were planning a spin-off for every other contestant from these shows. That was very apparent when it was announced that Megan Hauserman, originally from Rock of Love, would be getting her own show as well. Megan was the franchise's Paris Hilton, a gold-digging, tall, blonde airhead who carried around a little dog. Megan didn't seem like a likely choice for a spinoff, as she was painted as unlikable. She was cold, selfish, and didn't want love. She wanted money. But that gold digger mentality spawned the show, Megan Wants a Millionaire, the show that would be the end of the chaotic dynasty of the VH1 celeb reality shows. Megan Wants a Millionaire premiered on August 2nd, 2009. It premiered with below-average ratings for VH1, the celeb reality network giant. Those who did tune in found it to be pretty boring. The premise was that there was a house full of legitimate millionaires all competing to be chosen by Megan to be her sugar daddy. Alongside Megan was Brandi C., a former contestant on Rock of Love, who had bonded with Megan during their season of I Love Money. Megan was also assisted by a real-life friend named Cecile Gar, who had been on Beauty and the Geek a few years prior. The millionaires were as entertaining as you would expect a bunch of rich businessmen to be, which, yeah, not very much. Some were weird and some were creepy, but most were just boring. The thing that carries these shows are the wild contestants, and if they're not wild and crazy, then the host needs to be stirring them up. Megan didn't do that. She barely did anything. But as the show was airing, I Love Money 3 was wrapping up production. The winner of this 3rd season of I Love Money was Ryan Alexander Jenkins, a contestant on Megan Wants a Millionaire. Shortly after filming Megan Wants a Millionaire, 5 months prior, he married Playboy model Jasmine Fiore. But according to Mark Cronin, co-founder of 51 Minds Entertainment, then Mindless Entertainment, Ryan was obsessively calling his new wife from the I Love Money house in Mexico. He was always asking her where she was the night before and seemed very controlling and distrusting of his new wife. In an Entertainment Weekly article, Cronin said they were incorporating this behavior and these conversations into Ryan's storyline on the show to poke fun at him for being obsessed. He said, "It was funny until it wasn't funny at all." News broke on August 15, 2009 that Jasmine's mutilated body had been found in a dumpster in Buena Park, California. Her teeth and fingernails had been removed to keep her from being identified. Her breast implants were the key to finding out who she was from their serial number. Her husband and killer, Ryan Alexander Jenkins, had fled to British Columbia, where he unalived himself in his hotel room once he got word that the police were looking for him. On August 16, 2009, a day after the news had broke about the terrible tragedy, Episode 3 of Megan Wants a Millionaire would be the last to air on VH1. VH1 pulled the plug on the series due to the events that had happened. The biggest scandal in regards to the 51 Minds Entertainment Company was that they did not perform adequate background checks on contestants. TMZ showed during their coverage of the murder that Ryan was arrested in 2005 for assaulting a girlfriend in Calgary. This changed everything in the world of reality TV. Criminal background checks became an industry standard to ensure that everyone on set was safe. But 51 Minds Entertainment and VH1's programming schedule were now in a bind. Like most production companies, 51 Minds Entertainment was busy filming their future shows well in advance to be ready to premiere as spin-offs and new seasons of long-standing shows. Not only did VH1 not have any new episodes of their newest show to release on Sundays, their weekly premiere day, they couldn't show the next season of I Love Money either. All they had was a new season of For the Love of BRAY that premiered November 2009. I Love Money Season 4 had started filming in August 2009, immediately after Season 3 had wrapped. That season took nearly a year to edit due to the mentions and references to Ryan Alexander Jenkins, who had won the unaired Season 3. It didn't look good for 51 Minds Entertainment or VH1. 51 Minds Entertainment's reputation was now dirtied from that crime that they were unknowingly connected to. VH1 was going in another direction with their programming, leaning towards more shows that had more of a docuseries feel to them versus the heavily scripted, goofy competition shows. The two companies parted ways after I Love Money Season 4 finished airing in 2010. With spin-off after spin-off airing constantly, viewers started to wonder, what the hell am I watching? Even if nothing had happened to knock Megan Wants a Millionaire off the air, it still would have been a dud. Because of Megan's lack of charisma, you start to realize, who even is Megan? She's not a celebrity, so why should I care? It was proof that these shows had run their course. But one last spinoff got squeezed out in 2010 from the Of Love franchise, and it's the worst one yet. We'll cover that in the next video that covers all of the forgotten Of Love related shows. Even though it's been nearly 20 years since these shows ceased production, we're still talking about them. In 2020, a new generation of viewers started watching them during the lockdown, and people have rekindled their love of these classic trash reality shows. New York has received a career revamp in the 2020s, appearing on more shows, podcasts, and 3 seasons so far of House of Villains. And even though the Of Love tree stopped producing fruit, the seeds have been planted to carry on its legacy. In 2020, Chance from I Love New York and Real Chance of Love got his own show on the Zeus network titled One More Chance. The show is, well, watch it and you'll see. One More Chance ran for 2 seasons. During those seasons, Zeus's now legacy personality, Gia Rolly Mayhem, would go on to appear on 10 seasons of different shows on the network. Rolly holds the record for most Zeus shows as a cast member, and because she came from Chance's show, she's an Of Love cast member by technicality. At least I consider her to be.
Snack with a meal. Hey, mama. Okay, mama. Okay, snacks.
Did you ever watch Megan Wants a Millionaire or any of the other VH1 Of Love shows? Which one was your favorite? And do you think these types of shows should make a return or stay in the past? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Reality Fever.